right, good morning, everybody. My name is Mandy Barker, and I work for the Southwest Virginia Alliance for Manufacturing. We are a nonprofit organization based in Abingdon that serves all of Southwest Virginia. Our goal is to support the sustainment and advancement of manufacturing in our region. And one of the ways we do that is through promoting careers in manufacturing, which is the purpose of this panel today. So this morning, I'm going to ask our panelists questions for the first 45 minutes or so, and then we're going to answer questions from you all. So please be thinking of questions as we go along, and if you will type those in the chat box for me, I'll keep an eye on that. You can also find contact information for us in the chat box if you would like to reach any of us after the panel. Before we start with questions, I want to give you all a couple of statistics to keep in mind while we're talking. As of 2020, there are 336 manufacturing establishments in Southwest Virginia that employ almost 16,000 people. The average salary in manufacturing is $57,205 a year, and that's about $10,000 more than the overall average salary for this region. I want to tell you guys this up front because I want you to know that what we're talking about today is good paying jobs with great benefits and plenty of room for advancement. All right, I'll go ahead and welcome our panelists. We have Donna Reader, the Human Resources Supervisor for Hapco and Concord American Flagpole in Abingdon. Jack Hurley, the Warehouse Manager for West River Conveyors and Machinery Company in Oakwood. Regan Prophet, the Productions Engineer at Wolf Hills Fabricators in Abingdon. And Leah Sarr, the Chief Human Resource Officer for Real Performance Machinery and Independence. Donna, I'm going to start with you first. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself, about Hapco, and about what Hapco manufactures.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Donna Reader. I'm the Human Resources Supervisor here at Hapco. We are a manufacturer of light poles and flagpoles. We do business all the way around the world. We've been in this location for almost 60 years. That will happen next year. We have employees that have been here for 53, 54 years that are still working here. Sometimes I'll get a picture from an employee that's out on vacation standing by one of the poles that he helped manufacture. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I love that. Donna, in Abingdon, do you know right off the top of your head how many employees do you have?
Yeah, we have 295 employees here in this location. We also have Concord, has 25 in Minnesota and Texas. We have about 5 people that we contract through China for our sourcing procurement department.
Okay, thank you. All right, Jack, I'm going to move on to you next. You'll tell us a little more about yourself, West River Conveyors, and what you all manufacture.
Good morning. My name is Jack Hurley. I work with West River Conveyors and Machinery here in Oakwood, Virginia. And we currently make pretty much anything dealing with the conveyor system, whether it be with the mining industry or pretty much anything else from potash. We work different wood manufacturing companies, and right now we've branched out. We ship equipment all the way from New Mexico to Canada, all the way in Montana, everywhere. I mean, if it's dealing with manufacturing on a conveyor system, we can manufacture and we can ship it to them.
And how many people are at your location in Oakwood?
We have approximately 30 individuals here at West River right now.
All right. All right, Reagan, we'll move on to you.
Hello, my name is Regan Prophet, and I am the production engineer at Wolf Hills Fabricators. I'm new to Wolf Hills. I just started in October, so I'm new and still learning my place, of course, but we do large fabrication of many different sorts. We do overhead cranes, we do structural steel fabrication, we do generic small and large fabrication, we do crane parts and service, inspections on cranes. We do Damascus vehicles and parts for those. So we do a lot of different things and have a broad span of products. We currently have 30 to 40 employees, I'm thinking, but I do lots of different things here. I do quoting, I do the messer burn table operations, get them to the floor, put them out in the production's hands. So I run many different jobs at one time.
All right, thanks. We'll finish up with you, Leah.
All right. My name is Leah Sarr. I am the Chief Human Resource Officer and also the Chief Financial Officer for RPM in Independence, Virginia. We also have a location in Charleston, South Carolina. We have recently expanded to Virginia. We manufacture sawmill equipment, wood processing equipment for the sawmill industry. And we have about 60 employees here in Virginia and about 8 in South Carolina.
All right, thank you. I wanted everyone to know just kind of the different sizes we have of companies here in the area. So that's why I asked that question. All right, so a misconception people often have about manufacturing is that it's only working on an assembly line, just standing in one place, doing the same thing over and over. And that isn't necessarily true. Regan, you said in the information you sent me about yourself that what you love about manufacturing is seeing what is achieved every day because it's always changing and different. So will you tell us about that?
As I said in my introduction, we don't really, we are very broad and across the board. So we do many different things. So to do something over and over and over is completely out of our realm. We do cranes, of course, but we don't hardly ever do the same crane over and over and over. There's something always different, whether it's the size, whether it's the makeup of internally. And the same thing on fabrication. We do small fabrication, large fabrication, but it's always different. Something is different. It may look the same, but there's parts, the insides, the electrical, something is always different in everything that we do. That's just to see so many different things come through. I'm just like the Damascus vehicles, for instance. There's so many different vehicles you wouldn't think, underground mining, that sort of thing. There would be trillions of different vehicles, but there is. So just to see that come through and to see all the differences and to see the engineering, the production, all of the labor that's put into doing all of that is tremendous and just amazing, to be honest.
Yeah. When I have toured Wolf Hills, I've always just been shocked at the variety of stuff and all the cool projects. Like
yes,
every
it's
time
never the same. You can come weekly and something's always different. It is just truly amazing.
It really is. All right, Jack, I want to ask you this next question. I know you've been at West Rivers for about a decade. So how is working in manufacturing different than what you expected when you started your job? And have there been any surprises for you?
Well, I'll be honest with you. When I first started here, I was in the Army and I retired. So I really didn't know what to expect. And when I came in for my interview and I sat down and I spoke with the shop foreman, and we started looking at everything, and he was discussing it and he was describing to me what we done here and the product that we manufactured. When I first looked at it, I was like, well, this is going to be one of those jobs where, I'm going to do one set thing, and that's going to be the end of it. I'll focus on this. And then once my part of it is done, then it will be pushed off, the next person, take over. It'll be sort of like an assembly line. Well, I was wrong. This job right here it's challenging. It's mental, it's physical, and it just completely blows you away, because what you do is you look at a blueprint and all you have is lines and numbers, from the drafting, and you look at this, and then it's literally taking this piece of paper and these lines and numbers, and you're making a product. And when you're done, you sit back and you go, hey, I did this, and it's amazing. And I cannot stress it enough that 22 years I served in the Army, and don't get me wrong, I did some great and wonderful things, and I saw a lot of good things, but to actually do the things that we do here, mentally, physically, working with my hands and pulling all of this together, it has been it's been a highlight to my life. I cannot stress that enough, and I would say the biggest surprise is just literally seeing all of it come together.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. So it has been my experience, my personal experience, that how I feel about a job really depends more on who I work with than the actual work I'm doing. And I know that's not for everyone, but for me personally, company culture really makes a big difference. And I want to ask Leah about this, because every time I see a photo of someone from Real Performance Machinery, they look genuinely happy to be there. And I know I've said this to her before. So Leah, tell us about your culture where you work, about employee involvement and different programs you all are involved in.
So she's right. I do feel like everybody here is happy. I think we have an advantage just because we came into a market where, we had a company who used to employ 600 people leaving, and there are a lot of people that needed jobs. We're coming in with much higher wages than most. And so that immediately makes people happy. We do a lot of things. We're remodeling our break room. We've remodeled our bathrooms. We've all things that will improve their work environment. But we also participate in community events. RPM currently holds the Outhouse Race Trophy. We are the champions this year, and that was quite the sight to watch. We go to the middle schools and do things. We handed out Halloween bags for kids at the Fall Festival. We'll be doing the Christmas parade here. We do a lot of things. Employee assistance programs. We had a guy recently who missed 2 weeks of work, and we all got together, and when he came back to work, we handed him an envelope of 2 weeks worth of pay. So we do a lot of things for people that I guess just as humans are good, but we try to make it like a family, and I really do feel like we are a family.
That's wonderful. I love so much what the three of you have just said. I mean, right there, I feel like describes everything we want people to know about manufacturing. So having said all those wonderful things, Donna, will you speak to something that is super important, which is the pay and benefits?
Sure. So, on average, manufacturing workers earn about 13% more in hourly compensation, wages, and benefits than in the private sector. I know here, we spend on average about $14,000 a person to cover them in just medical insurance. Being a large employer, we can cover 75% of the cost for our employees. So we do care about their health care costs, the benefits, PTO, vacation time. We have the employee assistance program, continued education program. Overall, I've been in manufacturing business since I actually started working as a young adult. And I don't think that other outside companies can compete with what we can offer in manufacturing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mentioned that personally at the beginning of the panel, but I just wanted you all to hear it directly from someone in human resources who has the qualifications to tell you that. Another benefit of manufacturing, I think, is the room for advancement. So just because you start out entry level, you're probably not going to stay there. Now, when I set up this panel, I worked with the human resources manager at West River Conveyors to get Jack on here. And she said that Jack has become a key player in the company's processes. Jack, that sounds like you've had a lot of room for growth. Do you feel like that? And do you feel like there's room for advancement in manufacturing?
There is huge opportunities for advancement. And you're right. When I started here, like I said, I was fresh out of the Army. I mean, I retired in December. I started here in March. I had no clue what West River had to offer. And I was hired on, and I started out as just general labor, and that was it. And now I am in charge of the warehouse. I am in charge of all shipping and receiving. I am also the assistant shop foreman. I mean, it's just anything that needs to be done, we can, you call and we make it happen. So room for advancement, yes, phenomenal. And it goes on the individual, your work ethic, whether you want to do it or what. If you want to move up, then the opportunities are there for you to move up and for you to advance. But it all goes back to the individual. You have to want to do it and just work hard to get it.
Jack, would you say someone coming straight in, could they say, hey, I want to be in management one day? Are they going to be encouraged on a path that would put them in management? I mean, do you get that kind of support from your management, from human resources?
Yes, I do. And it's hard to explain this, on this level, but you got to think about it like this, okay? When you come in and you start out, if you go to your management, you go to your boss and you say, hey, listen, I don't just want to be an employee working here. I want to move up. I want to grow. I want to learn everything that I can learn. When you do this, you're automatically letting your employer know and your supervisor, they know, hey, this individual right here wants to grow. So what do? They show you exactly what you have to do, and they give you the opportunity to get that dream and to be able to advance and to move up.
Yeah, and continuing education, do you have opportunities for
Yes.
something like that?
Yes, you do. I mean, just recently, we here at West River, we went through several different welding classes. We had Southwest come on site right here because we had some welders, some really, really good welders, but they were missing the certification. They came in and they actually did the certifications on site right here. We had a couple of guys here who could hold a welder, but that's all that they could do with it. Well, by the time that the class was finished, they had become certified welders, and they're now have that opportunity to weld every day. So they have gone from general labor now to welders, which is more pay, more benefits, more opportunities.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. More pay and benefits as you move up.
Ma'am. Yes,
And-
ma'am.
Donna, you mentioned the continuing education too. So you all have similar programs?
We do. We offer, so much money for you to go back to school if it's something that benefits you, and of course, Hapco too. And then we also have a welder training program here. So a lot of people can weld, but welding our way is a little bit different because it's on, a rotation for a pole is round. And so when we hire welders, we put them straight in training with our QC department and our master welders. So it's a 2-week long course. So then they kind of graduate from our welding class.
Okay. I think we might possibly have some welders on here with us today. Are you all hiring welders, Donna?
We are.
I thought so. And you all are at Wolf Hills, aren't you, Reagan?
Yes, ma'am, we sure are.
I thought so. Jack, do you know if you all are hiring welders?
Yes, ma'am.
And Leah?
We are.
I think welding is one of the biggest in-demand things. Whenever I update our careers on our website, it's always welders. All right, I want to touch on safety for a minute because I know that is a concern that some people have. Reagan, at your last job, you were the safety supervisor, correct?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
talk to us about that focus on safety.
Of course. Safety in manufacturing is huge. It keeps people alive, it keeps them unharmed, and it also saves money for the company in the long run. So most production individuals have the constant pressure to stay competitive, to keep costs down, to deal with supply chain issues, to keep people hired, to have enough employees to be able to get production out and to do the work, and safety becomes low on the totem pole a lot of the times to many production individuals. So it just becomes a box that needs checked, or a paper that needs filled out, but it isn't truly put into production and followed. So the only way to keep people alive and to keep people unharmed is to follow safety measures. Because 90% of manufacturing is dealing with machinery, is dealing with heavy equipment, which can quickly harm or kill an individual if it isn't properly done, if it isn't properly serviced, and it isn't taken care of properly.
I'm always surprised at the safety programs manufacturers have in place. And whenever COVID first hit and I was doing these, I would ask people specifically what they were doing for COVID. And Eric from Wolf Hills, he said that you all were staggering clock-in times, right? So that not everyone is around the time clock at the same time.
Yep. And doing temperature checks and all that as soon as you come in the door. Yeah.
It was so many little things like that that the company said that I never would have thought of. But I think it speaks so much to how important safety is to everyone.
It truly is a huge part in the manufacturing world.
Yeah. All right. As we keep moving, I just want to remind everybody to type your questions in the chat box for us. So far, I only see myself in the chat box. So I'm not sure if that means no one has typed anything or if I'm looking at it wrong. But if you have not put a question in there for us, please do while you have these panelists here to talk to you. All right, I feel like the panelists have already given a lot of convincing information for us about why manufacturing is so great. But Leah, just in case someone isn't convinced, what would you tell students to make them excited about manufacturing?
Well, in manufacturing, you have plenty of entry-level opportunities. So if you're just coming out of school, then you have an opportunity to take a job entry-level that still pays well. It's also a job where you can always see the results of your hard work. You can't say that with every career out there, but you can definitely, when you take, a blueprint and you see your finished product, it's a really good, satisfying feeling for people to know that their work matters and what they do. Also, you're always on the edge of new technologies and manufacturing. I don't know. I walk around that shop, 100,000 square feet, a lot. So you get to stay active. And also there's a lot of opportunities, obviously, for growth and advancement.
Yeah. I love the way you, and I believe it was Jack, both mentioned looking at the blueprint and then seeing that finished product. My dad worked in manufacturing 40 years on the floor, and that's what he always talked about, was seeing that finished product. I think that's universal among everyone who works in manufacturing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Donna, I'm going to assume that these students will start applying for manufacturing jobs just as soon as we're done here. So will you tell us, outside of technical skills, what do you look for when hiring, especially for students who are getting a really great education but might not necessarily have a lot of experience?
Yes. So, when we do interviews, we're looking for long-term potential in that, fresh out of high school, fresh out of college student. We're looking at ability to produce results, enthusiasm and passion, putting skills into actions, responsiveness. And I think Jack mentioned earlier, attention to detail and work ethic, and of course, all of the soft skills. We can encourage leadership. We can train supervisors. We have, open supervisory positions now. So we kind of look at that,
Look at whether the employee has potential for growth?
Yeah, potential for growth, has the passion to work in manufacturing. You know, it's not easy. You know, our guys they work long hours. They provide a life for their family by working here. You know, it's hard work, but it pays off, you know, in the long run.
All right, thank you. So I'm looking at the chat box again, and I do see stuff now. So we're going to switch over and ask a few of these chat box questions. So thinking back to people you've seen do this work previously, what differentiated the ones who were good from the ones who were really great at it? Does anybody want to answer that question? That's super interesting.
Attitude.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Passion.
So with that attitude and passion, how would somebody come in? How do they show that to you? Is it their enthusiasm in their work? Is it always being smiling and happy to be there?
There's just, I would say you can tell the happy employee from the not happy employee. And then it's always what you make of it. Because if you're there for a career and you want to be there, it shows. There's a difference for somebody who's just there for a job and somebody who's there for a career. And I think that if you approach any job you take that, hey, I want to make this my career and I enjoy doing it, you take the job because, you know, if you're a creative person, especially in manufacturing, you're a good fit. So I think that attitude is everything. I mean, I know my parents always told me that. I think that, you know, that still rings true today.
Yeah, I love that you said there's a job and there's a career. And I think that's going to be across the board, regardless of what sector you work in. But I think that is such a good piece of advice. All right, next question. Do any of you actually go out and dig? I'm not sure what that means. If this person would like to clarify. I know mining equipment was mentioned several times. Anybody have an answer to that? No? Hopefully, let's see, is this person clarifying for me? Like out in the field. How many of y'all go out and work out in the field? You all have someone, I'm sure, to go out and check your products after they've been put into place, right?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yeah, we do also. We'll send some of our employees out for field complaints, maybe if something was a little bit off and we've got to figure out how to fix it once a pole goes in the ground. So sometimes we'll send employees.
Okay, and you all do have employees that do that. It's not a contracted out position.
It's actually our production workers, you know, or our quality department or our engineers, but actual employees go.
Okay. Okay, as a trainer for future workers, what do you see as the most important quality in hiring a worker?
Pride. I say pride because anybody who takes pride in what they do, they're going to be their worst critic. They're not going to accept sloppy work. They want it to look perfect. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody who has that attitude and they want everything to be done right, because you don't want to send a product out the door that is not complete. You know, it's got flaws. You know, you want it out because that comes back and that reflects not only on the company, but on the individual that built it.
Right, right. Anybody else want to add to that? I think you probably hit the nail on the head there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, for a college student, academic or workforce who has secured training and credentials but doesn't have experience, what steps or strategies can be taken to be considered for a position and be more successful in the position, in addition to what Jack has already recommended?
I know for us, we offer apprenticeships. So, I mean, most manufacturers do offer apprenticeship programs. So anybody without manufacturing experience, but maybe you've, you know, gone to school and you've got the soft skills or you have the work ethic, you know, you can always be trained to work in manufacturing. I think anybody, especially in this job market, would volunteer to train someone.
Okay, so an employee would come to you with the desire, right?
Right.
and you would train them from there. Donna, same thing for you?
Yeah, that proactive can-do attitude.
Okay.
I will say I interned. I graduated in 2019, so I'm not too far out from college. But I interned all through my 4-year college degree, and so when I graduated, I knew a little more what was going on in the manufacturing world than just the book side of it. So that helped tremendously.
Okay, and you did intern then directly with manufacturers?
I did. Yep.
Okay. Does anyone on here have an internship or apprenticeship program? I know Leah said she did. Donna or Jack, do y'all know if you have something similar?
Yeah, we do. We have one here, and we also have the shadow where they, like in high school, they come in and they work with our welders, and they go through everything so they can really see what they're doing and be a part of it as it's going, so that way they physically put hands on and they know exactly what's going to happen.
Okay. Donna, do you all have?
We actually just hired one of our interns that graduated in manufacturing engineering. So he is still an intern, but not really. He's brand new out of school. So he's getting on the job training, hands-on with all of our machines. And I know last year we were looking for another intern to replace him since he was hired. I would have to check to see.
Yeah. So pretty much all internship programs. So that's wonderful. Someone has commented, I'm thinking about West River Conveyors. What do they need to do, Jack?
Come and see us. Come on down, check it out, put in an application, take a welding test. If they can't weld, then we can see what else they can do. But you got to step forward and come on down and give it a shot.
So you mean physically come down, not call, just show up?
You should come on in. Come down to see Jessica, and put in the application. You can come over. They can get them a tour of the shop. They can see what we do. They can look. We can sit and talk about this all day long, but until you actually see it and you can put your hands on it, you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I do want to remind everyone that the websites for these companies are in the chat box, so you can get the address for West River Conveyors and show up and meet everybody. I encourage that. And he mentioned Jessica, and Jessica is wonderful. I've worked with her quite a bit, so she will be a huge help for you. Okay, next, would you each share what your application process looks like? And are you a second chance employer? Donna, will you start us off on that one?
So our application process is you can pick one up at the guard station or up at our receptionist area. We also have an online application, so you can go to our website to the employment tab and fill out an application or upload your resume. It actually comes straight to the Human Resources Department. I would say yes, we have second chance employees that we've rehired. And it all depends on the situation. So that would be a hard one to answer without knowing.
Right. Okay, and how about you, Leah?
Same for us as far as the second chance. It's kind of dependent on the situation, but you can pick up an application here in person at our office in Independence on Davis Street, or you can apply online as well for us. And we have several jobs posted on Indeed. I think we're on the veteran website. We're a V3 certified company, and we also have job postings on, I think, South Virginia Manufacturers Alliance. You can find us anywhere. Just Google us.
That's usually the best answer. Just Google it.
That's all.
Okay, Reagan, can you tell us a couple of pills?
Yes, you can either come in person. Of course, I would highly suggest that shows, like Jack said, that you want and you care a little more. But we do have applications online that you can do, of course, also. And kind of the same on the second chance. It just depends on the situation, of course.
Okay. And Jack has said, come on in and visit.
Come on.
And the person who asked that plans to come in Friday.
Good. Look forward to seeing you.
Be expecting that. And please, when you show up, tell them you saw Jack on here. Oh, and the question we had earlier about, does anyone go out and dig? The question was with heavy equipment operation. So does anyone do like that? Or you make the equipment that someone would use to go out? You make the heavy equipment, right? You don't actually use the heavy equipment out in the field. Is that right?
Yeah,
Like
we
the
make-
cranes, you don't actually go out and use the cranes in the field.
No, we just make it, and then we do go service and install a lot of the time, but to just say that we use, now we have cranes in our buildings, for example, that are used every day for production, but.
Okay. I do think we have possibly a class of people on here who are studying the heavy equipment operation. So would they have a place in your facility? Anybody want to answer that?
Of course.
Okay.
They-
I feel like I keep it Regan on the spot.
No, you're fine. No, you're good. Yeah, I mean, we're, like I said, we're looking for workers daily. Welders, heavy equipment operators, I mean, just production workers as a whole. So of course, and I do, like I said, in the introduction, I program a lot of our machines, burn tables. So I do work with heavy equipment daily, but to say I run it, I don't run it. I send stuff to the floor in order for them to put it in the machine and run it.
Okay. Someone has specifically asked, and I don't know if you are allowed to answer this, Jack, but how much does West River pay for welders and heavy equipment operators? Are you allowed to give numbers?
I can't actually give numbers based on that one, but that would be something that would be discussed with the general manager, the shop foreman, and the HR. And that would, really, you got to think about it too. It also goes on whether you have any experience or whether you don't have any experience. If you're starting on ground level, can you read blueprints? There's a whole lot of different factors go into it. But in a situation like that, only thing I would say on that one is come in, put in the application, and sit down and talk with HR, Jessica, talk with Jeffrey, the shop foreman, Jason, our general manager, and just go through the whole process that way. And then those decisions, those questions can be answered then.
Okay. And I'm sure you all know about going online and looking at, I think it's maybe like payscale.com, and you can get an idea of pay in this area. I don't think, to my knowledge, it never tells individual company pay. You can get an average of what a pay would be. This is just general information that I happen to know. Utility trailer starts welders out around $18 an hour. And I know that because it's publicly advertised. And I don't think we have a class of engineers on here, but Mitsubishi Chemical Advanced Materials, which is in Withville, they start their engineers out between 70 and 90,000 a year. So those are the only two numbers I actually know right off the top of my head that are publicly advertised. But I don't think most companies put that information in the job description, do they? Donna, Leah, you all don't put that in the job descriptions.
We usually
Well,
put a range. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And
We
we
put a range also.
Okay. And what were you saying, Leah?
same thing, just a range.
Just a range? Okay. Okay, for a person that is right out of high school and has zero experience, what would be the best way to build this person's way up to an operator? So starting out with zero experience, how could they get up to an operator position?
Start as an operator one. We have different levels of operators. So depending, and it also depends on what type of shop you work in. Most of our parts are, higher level operator jobs, but we do have some lower level, but you can start as an operator.
Okay. I see Donna shaking her head, same for Hapco.
Yep, same for Hapco. We start our spinner operators out brand new with no experience. I know that, from my experience in manufacturing, it's really nice because then you get to train them the way that you want them trained. So that's really good.
Yeah, that is very true. No one asked this. This is just general information. We've had some questions about straight out of high school. 18 is your minimum age to hire. Is that correct? Across the board? Donna, Reagan, Jack, and I think that has to do with insurance probably, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, 18 is the minimum age. I think I got all of the questions in here. If I missed yours, please put it in the chat box a second time and I will read it. Or if you've come up with something else while we've been talking about this, please add it. We've still got a few minutes left. I'm going to switch over to more of a general question for the panelists right now. And that is, I'd like for you to offer advice to students regarding getting started in general or just general career advice. For those who are going to just break my heart and not go into manufacturing, if you have general career advice as well, does anybody want to offer anything? I feel like we've already got some pretty good advice.
For me, I think making your job your hobby, loving what you do, loving to go to work. I'm passionate about the people that I help every day from HR, payroll benefit side of things. So that would be my only advice, is to make it your hobby.
That is great. Jack, did you want to jump in with something?
She pretty much hit it right on the head. What I was going to say, just, you got to enjoy what you do, no matter what it is, you got to put your heart into it. You got to enjoy it. You got to make it fun. You got to make it enjoyable, because when it's not, then it's work. And when it's work, you regret it every day. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, have fun when you come to work, do your job, and just enjoy life in general every day.
Yeah, I think that's great. You're trading 40 hours a week of your life for a paycheck. So it needs to be something you enjoy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Someone asked, where is Real Performance Machinery located? You're in Independence, correct? Can you give us?
Yeah, we're on Powerhouse Road. Our corporate office is on Davis Street, but everything's right here. It's, it's not a very big place. But 709 Powerhouse Road.
Okay. Where is Independence located in Southwest Virginia? You're kind of at the far corner, closer down to the North Carolina border?
Yeah,
No?
that's right. Yeah, close to Sparta, right.
Okay. I'm terrible at geography. All right, that's all the questions I see in our chat box. We still have just a few minutes if anybody would like to add anything else. All right, well, like I said, if anyone has any questions that they want to ask, you are welcome to contact us. The information is in the chat box. And please feel free to reach out, because I know everyone here is very passionate about what they do and would be eager to have you all as employees. So please do reach out. If you're curious about seeing the current job opportunities we have available, you can look on my organization's website, which is swvam.org. Those job opportunities are updated every single Thursday. And I put that in the chat box for you as well. I don't expect you to remember it. Oh, wait, hold on. We had another question pop up. So nobody actually goes out and digs trenches, demolition, or anything like that. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we have people who, we don't dig trenches, but we have people in our facility that actually go out and install the machines that we make. They make them run, they service them. So it's a big part of what we do. And those people, their pay is extremely high. So if you're looking for a service technician job, that'd be your route to go.
Okay, so someone with the heavy equipment operator career path right now in college, is that a possible job for them?
Yeah, because, well, the thing about it is every job can be taught. And if you work in a manufacturing facility where you make the machine and you see how it goes together, you're already a candidate for a service technician if you want to travel.
Okay. Oh, and that's right. That is a job where you would get to do a lot of traveling, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is.
Okay. Someone said you all are 2+ hours away. So this is Real Performance Machinery. Would you have a
Maybe
place to
location.
stay, like like hotels or apartments?
Yeah, I mean, we do offer relocation for people.
Okay, that's great. Any more questions before I move on from that? Okay, I hope that was good information, and Real Performance Machinery's website is on there as well. So please visit them and check them out. And you can always call in, right, Leah? If someone wants to call and get more information. Yeah.
Yes.
So their number's listed on their site. You can always call in. All right, well, we'll wrap it up. I want to thank Jessica for all her hard work on this panel and handling the technology for us. And thank you to our panelists, of course, for taking time out of your very busy schedules to talk to us. I really appreciate it. And thank you to you all for being here. Hopefully we've encouraged you to consider a career in manufacturing. That's all I have for everyone. I would like, if you don't mind, for Jarrett and Jack to stay on here. But everyone else, that's all I have for you. Thank you all so much.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you.